What happens if the U.S. Department of Education is eliminated? This question has been a top concern of students and student loan borrowers. While it has been discussed by the Trump administration, a lot would need to happen for the U.S. Department of Education to be dismantled or eliminated. The reason being that the elimination of the U.S. Department of Education would require an act of Congress, and it does not seem like the administration would have the votes for that to happen. With that being said, that doesn't mean that certain programs that are managed by the U.S. Department of Education can't be modified or transferred to another agency. So let's talk a little bit about how federal student aid programs were created. In 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Higher Education Act into law, and that essentially created the federal student aid programs. Now, the names of certain programs have changed over time, but the federal grants and the federal loans were established under this federal law. Because it is a federal law, what is included in the law would require an act of Congress in order for any changes or eliminations for anything included in the law. Where it gets a bit tricky is policy and regulation. Policies created and regulations created based off the intent of the law could be subject to easier changes or eliminations based on things like executive orders or decisions by the administration. Overall, the programs themselves are protected by the law. It would just be different aspects of how the programs are run or operated that could be affected. If and only if the U.S. Department of Education is eliminated, that does not mean that your student loan debt would also be eliminated. What we would see is anything that was managed by the U.S. Department of Education that will continue to exist would be transferred to another agency. What there have been a lot of discussions of during this Trump administration as well as the earlier Trump administration was moving the federal student loan program to the Treasury. What we expect to see is the program as it's operated and even the servicers and some of those platforms to be transferred to the Treasury instead of being start over from scratch. And one of the reasons for that is it's a large program. It would be extremely challenging and very difficult to create new systems and new methods to get all the information over the Treasury and continue the program without any interruptions. Now, as far as the FAFSA does fall under the Higher Education Act. We would see this transferred if the Department of Education were eliminated at that point as well. But at this point in time, the FAFSA exists. The FAFSA is operating as usual, business as usual with the FAFSA. So if you are planning to go to school in the 25-26 award year or academic year, which comes up this July 2025 or after, go ahead and complete the FAFSA. There is no reason why you should not complete the FAFSA. It's in your best interest to get the FAFSA completed in order to qualify for as much aid as possible. And remember that FAFSA application is being used for state and institutional aid as well. So it's important to keep an eye on all your deadlines. A lot of families are concerned if their parents are not citizens or they're undocumented citizens about including their information on the FAFSA. The best piece of advice I can give you is to talk to your family. Have a discussion with your family about what course of action you should take. If you need to, contact your school as well. Let them know your concerns and see if there's any other financial aid applications you can apply for or if there are other aid opportunities for you without completing the FAFSA. But you would have to have those conversations as a family and with your school as well to help you on your path. If you have any questions or if you have any concerns about any potential changes, make sure that you follow us on social. Check out our blog on edvisors.com, and if you have a specific question, go ahead and ask the Edvisor, which you can find right on our homepage.